Hello and welcome to another edition of Fermanagh GAA Television. Well, as Rosslea and Derrylin celebrate their championship successes from 2 weeks ago, it's now down to the league finals this Sunday, where the Division 2 final kicks off in Brewster Park with Liston and Maguires Bridge in an exciting derby tussle, while the Division 1 final sees first v second and last week's semi-final winners Derrylin Harps going up against Rosslea Shamrocks. With me on the show tonight, on my left hand side here is John McElroy, the current Tempo manager. John managed Fermanagh back in 1982 when they made an Ulster final, and he was also the last manager in Fermanagh Club football to do the double when Tempo won the 2012 Senior Championship and Division 1 League title. On my right here is a man who's still celebrating, he says, from Derrylin's victory against Maguires Bridge. It's Mark Murphy. Mark spent a bit of time in Australia and he's come back this year, and all of a sudden, with his terrific midfield performances, himself and a few others have guided Derrylin to their first intermediate title since 1997. So kicking off tonight, lads, we'll fire a few questions at you if that's alright.
Yeah, no worries.
Mark, you've just come back from Australia, of course, as I was saying, and you've guided Derrylin to an intermediate title, first since 97 again. What does it mean to your club?
Oh, it's huge for it. Like, you know, as I said, it's 17 years since we won a championship. It was 8 years even since we won a championship game, this year as well. So but in fairness to Ryan and Mickey, they set the stall out at the start of the year, and the players bought into it, and you could see that a couple of young players coming through, a few older players there as well, experience, but the boys just put the work right in, and the belief was there. I think after we got that first win against Cole, we were lucky enough we scraped over the line, but when we got that win, I think got the monkey off the back. That was the first win in 8 years that we had in championship football. And once we got out of the way, we were lucky enough with the draw, maybe at MC, but got the belief that we actually we could win the next game, and then once you're obviously in the final, you never know what can happen.
Yeah, he's went into that game against Maguires Bridge as huge underdogs, to be honest. Did it matter to you at all?
Underdogs in everyone else's eyes, Pauric, really. To be honest, like once whoever was Newtown or Maguires Bridge, like, we knew for 2 weeks we were going to be playing one of them because the game was put off, but like we were just focused on ourselves. Obviously the week before we knew we had Maguires Bridge, we tweaked the game plan, whatever else, but like we always had enough belief in ourselves. I know Maguires Bridge had beat us 3 times during the year in the league, but we didn't ourselves, we hadn't a full team, we didn't ourselves justice in some of them games, and but like Maguires Bridge, I don't know whether they took their eye out the ball or seen us as a potential banana skin, I don't know, but like ourselves, we knew we were up against it, but if we give a performance, which I think we did, all over the pitch, we knew we'd be thereabouts.
I see you've wore your club colours in the night.
Yeah.
You were saying you might have brought something else with you too, is that correct?
Didn't need, I've got the trophy. It's a bit straighter, it's a bit straighter than the last time I seen it anyway.
It's a busy 2 weeks, I'd say.
It has. It's seen much of Derrylin now.
Looks well, and fair play to you.
Thank you very much.
John, Tempo manager this year. He's just missed out in a league semi-final. He didn't get going in Derrylin that evening against Devonish in the championship, and he's lost to that. Tempo season, failure or good?
In between, I suppose. Overall it was a poor enough season, but on one hand sort of glad that we avoided relegation, on the other hand we could have been in the top 4, but from early on I could see it coming. We were stretched for numbers all over the year, and I was looking at a photograph the other night of the championship winning team. 28 in the panel, we've lost 12 of them, so we were stretched all year. We'd done well in the beginning of the year to get enough points, and then towards the end of the year, even we didn't go out of the championship, we had a very good win against St Pat's the following Sunday, and it looked to be going in the right direction, but we just missed out on a top 4.
Talking about missing those Tempo players, I've seen a few games this year. Rory McElroy, top quality player coming up, and even more underage, Lorcan McStravick. Them players potential to become Tempo senior players?
Rory McElroy and another lad, Derrylin McGurn, a good forward, would be coming in now. Derrylin McStravick would be underage again from that. Other than that, now there will be very few coming through.
Right.
But had we some of the old stagers might come back in a year or two. There's about 5 of them in England. There's about 3 at college, 2 others working. So there's a possibility that probably the whole 5 of them could be back.
When you talk about men coming back, what's your own future looking like for 2015?
I suppose that'll be decided at the annual general meeting. That's where we appoint managers, so that'll be probably decided. Look at, I couldn't, I'm not too worried one way or the other.
I'd have to say the sidelines are quite a place without you.
You reckon so?
You wouldn't be there.
Well, as long as I attract something to the game, it's not so bad, you know.
Mark, just regarding your own future, you've come back from Australia, you know, you come back into the Fermanagh squad as well late on. 2015, will you be giving another go? Because you see players like Aaron Kernan and Louds Paddy Keenan there hanging up the boots at a young, you know, something like 29, 31 years of age. Yourself, will you be coming back for 2015?
That's the $1 million question, Pauric. I don't think so. Like, the plans at the minute is I have to go back to Australia for sort out bits and pieces to tie up there, so I could be out there a bit longer than that. So at the minute I'll be finishing off, obviously see how Derrylin goes with tying down the 2nd of November, and that's the main aim at the minute. So I'll sort out the plans after that, see how we go. But as regards sort of next year, like, you know, it's not fair. Well, you need to be there, given the commitment 100%, like, especially for county football nowadays. And you know, with not being able to sort of do that, and the body not being able to sort of push it on as much as you could, you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I think that boat has sailed now, you know. But as regards everything else, it's hard now. I've been in Australia for a while, and then see how that goes.
Has Pete McGurn come in to ask any Derrylin players yet? You know, for there's trials held there again.
Yeah, I was down actually Sunday morning. They played Listen to Ski there in Derrylin. Micheál Shannon and Louis Leonard were in that. Now I only seen the first half an hour because I had to shoot off, but it's good to see. It's good to see boys being rewarded, you know, and recognised for the work they put in and the effort they put in. So, like, it's not easy. It's a big commitment, you know, and hopefully 2 lads can push on and you know, get into the squad and see where they can go from there.
Yeah. John, swing over to yourself. Fermanagh got Antrim last Thursday in the Ulster Championship 2015. Do you think Pete McGrath would he be happy with that draw?
He possibly is. I wouldn't be that happy with it. It's a sort of a pressure game. You've got to win it. If you don't win it, you're the worst in the world. If you do win it, look at, you just beat Antrim at home. Not many will give you much credit for that. But at the same time, I suppose if you're looking forward to winning it and getting through to a semi-final where you play your neighbours Monaghan or Gavin, it mightn't be so bad. But overall, we're definitely in the easiest section of the draw. And overall, I have a sneaky feeling that another team that's in Division 3 with us this year, although the expert claimed that, you know, you never would have lost the title from Division 3, I have a sneaking feeling that Armagh possibly win Ulster this year, because they're waiting on the winners of the Tyrone v Donegal, and you know, they'll be fit to size up the situation there, and I have a funny feeling that they'll figure now in an Ulster final at least.
Okay. And Mark, Antrim, they weren't easy to play again in Enniskillen in 2014?
No, there's some, like, you know, you have this perception obviously Antrim, you know, with ourselves, like in Ulster, you know, sort of weaker sort of counties now, but like on their day they have some great footballers, you know, like the Tim McCanns, Mick Tomas, you know, Cunningham, whatever happens, you know, sort of St. Gall's there, and Antrim to sort that out, you know, there's a few more quality players playing, like, it's obviously St. Gall's, they won the All-Ireland there not that long ago as well, like the club All-Ireland, so like it's but you know, when you look at yourself, look at ourselves, or Fermanagh, like, they have the players there, you know, it's just getting them playing that right, playing together and playing that right system, you know, like, and it's a tough draw, like, in a way, as John said, like, you win, you're expected to win, you lose, you know, you actually get, you know, you have to get beaten by Antrim, but like when you see the other side of the draw though, like, I'm sure the lads when they're seeing it, like it just gives you that bit of a lift, you know, like a
Does.
bit more belief maybe, you know, that you know, when you get over that first game, you're in a semi-final and anything can happen there, like, you know, so.
John, moving on to Fermanagh club football, I was just looking there at Division 1 fixtures and results this year. Tempo played their last game against Devonish on Saturday, September the 6th. Now that leaves Tempo, a lot, you know, your ordinary standard club player, without a competitive game now until probably most likely April 2015. Do you believe the club season is run correctly in Fermanagh?
Well, if you attended county board meetings, you would know my feeling on that, because I can't for the life of me see why club football should end in September and not start again until April. Because with the pitches that we have in the county, we can start earlier and we can even finish later. And when we finish at this time of the year, the other attraction to other sports is there, and no lad is going to hang around for 6 months, and actually it is 6 months, without putting a boot in them. So why do we lose players? That's one of my reasons. That's what I'm talking about now for months.
Yes.
Second point is, we don't seem to be fit to get another 21 competition going, right? And that there is a good feeder system to the seniors, and it hasn't been happening now in Fermanagh for 2 or 3 years. Now I know there's a couple of issues there. Number one is that insurance purposes, a club is expected to pay 21s as a unit, even though they are playing minor or junior or senior. They're a different unit, so clubs find that hard. But if you go back a few years to amalgamation, I can see no reason whatsoever why 2 clubs can't join up. Or I would even put it further than that. I would put it 3 clubs, 4 clubs. I would put it north, south, east and west. But it certainly would have an under 21 competition.
Yeah. And just about, you know, Fermanagh and the youth teams, how far honestly are we behind the likes of your Calvins and your Tyrones?
Well, if we listen to what we were getting from Croke Park last week there, that Fermanagh is the smallest county in Ireland club-wise, you know, but you get no credit for harping on about that. The point is that, as I say, once our underage, if we're not making any progress there, it's very hard to see it following through. Although once in every 10 or 15 years, you seem to get a group of players together which are able to take on anyone, which has been proved in the past. But our underage structures and all, while they're working very hard at them and everything else, I still think that clubs are caught for numbers. Like you're going to possibly bring a minor down to 11 aside or something like that there for clubs to field.
Yeah.
You go to Tyrone and maybe our neighbours will say to them more, if they're putting out another 16 team, there wouldn't be 2 under 14s on it. They'd be all under 16s. Equally so the minor is the same. When it's Fermanagh, there'd be an overlap there all the time. You know? Numbers. So it's hard to make progress. But when you see the effort that goes in at St Michael's every year, you always think there's a future there, but unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you want to say, there's always a couple of Tyrone lads on that, which takes it away again, it takes away the numbers. But I could go on all night about it. I have my own views on it. I'm not too sure too many listen to me, but I'll still keep harping on about it, and I'll still have my own ideas on it.
No bother, John. Mark, getting back to this trophy and now representing Fermanagh in the Ulster Intermediate Championship. Yeah. I see he's now faced St Paul's of Lurgan. You know, how's the training been going so far for you for that competition?
Yeah, it's good. We just met up last Friday night. You know, we didn't do much during the week. Let the bodies recover and everything else from the weekend. Late session Friday night. We were back in it again last night. You know, so with a good session last night. So we go on wet until Friday and whatever else. But just even from, you know, just the players they're looking forward to that, you know, just of representing the club in Ulster, you know, which
to be there.
Knowing, like, you know, the way the competition was last time Derrylin won it, there was no Ulster Intermediate or anything. So like it'd be the first group of players, you know, from Derrylin to represent the club in Ulster. You know, it's a big honour for a lot of players. But again, if you try and, you know, we don't get carried away that, you know, it is only another game of football. You know, if you read too much into it, you know, the occasion will end up getting to us, you know, Pauric, like, and next thing you realise you're out of an Ulster competition, you know. So hopefully Mickey Ryan has said that the two of them are great, they'll keep us grounded, they'll get us working on what we need to work at, and come a couple of sessions before the Armagh game or the St Paul's game, they'll focus on a few bit tactical stuff, because I said we're up. Their final was on at the weekend. We're up and they've a couple of decent players there, Andy Murnan and that as well. I think he won minors, All Ireland minor, with Armagh and that. But again, all we can do really is focus on ourselves, and if we get that right, you've always a chance.
And Donal McElroy had a great intermediate final. He kicked 2 points from play. Going back to Australia, it's a huge blow, I'm sure.
Yeah, he flew out there last night. Again, he was only home temporarily, and with working out, he had to go back. He didn't really want to go, obviously, after winning, and with obviously Ulster competition not coming in. But again, a huge loss, definitely. He started the 3 championship games, and obviously kicked two from playing the final. But again, with players in the bench there and come in, with Fergal Shannon, Damien Cassidy, Paddy Dolan, so we can work around that, but which beforehand, Derrylin probably wouldn't have had players to come in, to replace, Donal or whoever else was missing. But lucky enough this year, boys have stayed committed, trained, so everyone's at that one level. So we'll have a couple of players to come in and do a job for us.
Well, all Fermanagh GAA certainly wishes the best luck on November 2nd, and you get up to the athletic grounds and support them for sure. John, the Division 2 League final this week, Listonskea Maguires Bridge. Can you call the winner?
Just to go back to the last topic before I answer this one, I want to congratulate Pauric and the Derrylin club on winning the meeting, and wishing them all the best
Thanks,
in the Ulster competition. The Maguires Bridge, Listonskea. Maguires Bridge have been showing form for the last 2 or 3 years. It was no surprise that they ended up where they have ended up this year. They'll be a very good young team against Newtown Butler. That nothing to lose. It was no big surprise actually that night that they beat Newtown. They were favourites against Derrylin, and we saw what happened there. Maguires Bridge Listonskea is a hard one to call, insofar as it's a local derby, it's a parish derby near enough, and I still have the feeling maybe at the end of the day that Listonskea just might sneak it.
Mark, you probably know better. You've been in Division 2 with the 2 sides this year. I was reading there, Listonskea haven't played a competitive game since the middle of August.
Probably not.
That's correct. Can you call the winner there?
I'd probably go with John there as well. Listonskea this year. I was up in Derrylin Sunday morning, and they're playing against the county trial team now. And for a team that hadn't played, a competitive game in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is, they look sharp. I don't know how the game finished up in the end up, but I think parish game, derby game, it'll come down. I think this Listonskea have just that bit more experience. As John said, Maguires Bridge, they've been coming this last couple of years, and between the Tiggs and Hyde and Kieran Corrigan and boys like that there, they've a great team there. But I think Listonskea beat them twice maybe this year in the league. So I think Listonskea will be shaded with 2 or 3 points.
I see Sean Keenan injured himself there the other day playing for Jordanstown, so it'll be a bit of a loss for Skye. John, I suppose the main game this Sunday, Rosslea and Derrylin. It's an intriguing final. How do you think Derrylin is going to cope with the Quigley brothers in the forward line?
Well, we'll leave that aside for a minute or two. Back some time ago, somebody asked me what did I think, who'd win the trophies in Fermanagh this year, and I said Rosslea would win the championship and Derrylin would win the league. Now, I don't want to be going back on that, because one half was already over. But at half time last Sunday, you wouldn't give Derrylin much of a chance to even been in the final with the display against Devonish. I have a sneaking feeling that some few years ago in a championship final, one of the Quigleys was dealt with. So I don't think Sean maybe was on the scene at that particular time. So Derrylin have the men to, let's say, maybe break even with Sean or Shema. See, everyone goes to Rosslea favourites. Rosslea is going to win this. Rosslea. If you take, for instance, God forbid that Shimmy Quigley twist his ankle after 10 minutes, where does the favourites go then? But Derrylin have enough men in defence. Paul Green is capable enough on the line to know who to have to mark the two Quigley's. If Derrylin don't leave it as late as they left it last Sunday, about thinking about winning the game, I can see no reason why they can't win it. And after all, as you said in the beginning, we still hold a wee something. Because we took the double a few years ago, so it's putting the pressure on us laying now to take the double.
Yeah. And just about the Harps, are the top scoring team in the division this year. What has impressed you most about Derrylin?
Well, Derrylin all over, they had much the same team last year, but they have sort of changed it around a bit this year. I must say that Colin Jones this year, even though he had been in America for a period of time, is a much improved player. Not forgetting his younger brother again, am I right in saying that?
Yeah, Garvin,
who sort of turned the game last Sunday in many ways.
Won to kick 2 points in the second half.
As against that, your Declan Cassidy's, your Michael Jones is your defence is much the same and has always been solid. Paul Ward will always give trouble, as he did last. Seems to be in good form at the minute on a dry ball. I have a sneaking feeling, and I've said it all along, that Derrylin just might win that league.
So it's Derrylin for yourself.
Yeah.
Mark, next year you'll have the senior championship to be worrying about. You could be coming up against either of these clubs. Who's your prediction for Sunday, the Rosslea Derrylin final?
Yeah, the biggest thing like is like, you know, you mentioned sort of the Quigley brothers, or even Derrylin themselves, you know, to perform. You know, like you look at the championship there against Timor, you know, they were favourites to beat Timor, but never turned up that day. You know, they kicked too many wides and whatever else. Like, but if Derrylin turn up and play, like, you know, as you said, with Ryan Jones, Conal Jones, Paul Ward, you know, Mickey Jones and boys in defence, to have the players to cause Rosslea trouble. Like, you know, Timor, you know, the Quigleys were kept quiet enough there in the league final or in the championship final, but then you see there against St Pat's the weekend, you know, Shane kicked 2-7 and Sean was at 1-4 or 1-5, like, you know, so like that's the big question, whether he can keep the scores down there. But I'd say probably Rosslea, but 2 or 3 maybe in that one. So well,
it's good to see us
not agreeing
for once.
And he didn't, and also there, can I say that you mentioned that you might be meeting some of these two teams, Derrylin, next year. What happens if Derrylin meets Tempo in the championship next year?
He's making me come back on the show. Folks, there you have it. So the lads are going here for a Listen Ski win and a Derrylin and a Rosslea win on Sunday. So someone will have to get it wrong this time for sure. First of all, before I go, I'd like to give a massive thanks to the Westville Hotel here in Enniskillen for keeping us warm and dry. Without them, I don't know where we'd actually be. Massive thanks as well to John McElroy and Mark Murphy. And best of luck to the 4 sides competing in the Division 1 and Division 2 league finals on Sunday. I've been Pauric McGurn. Good night and God bless.